I know what you guys are thinking, but Kate, if you really hate Genshin Impact so much, why do you keep on making videos about it? Why can't you just keep quiet and just play without getting any complaints? The thing is, nothing can replace Genshin Impact for me. Okay, I know that Wuthering Waves is great, but Wuthering Waves isn't Genshin Impact. Honkai Star Rail isn't Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact is Genshin Impact, needless to say. Thing is, I want to make these videos because I really want Genshin Impact to be better. I think that Genshin Impact had some moments where it was really memorable, it was enjoyable, it was fun, and I will experience it again. But I do have a problem nowadays where content creators are saying that the updates are insane, when it's not really that insane. Like, it was good, but it's not that insane. Hey guys, I'm Kit here, and today I'd like to make a video on why I hate the 4.8 summer event. And before that, I'll just like to thank you guys for 100 subscribers. I want to thank you guys for the feedback you have given me on my Genshin Sucks video. If it wasn't for the criticisms that I have, as well as your feedback on how I should play through the story myself, I wouldn't actually go and search on YouTube to watch a video of people playing it. So for that, I would just like to thank you guys. And yes, I do enjoy watching the playthrough of those Genshin stories because I felt like it's a more enjoyable thing to do, because I don't have to run around the world and then there's no skip button, so I prefer to just watch it at a pace that I like. And in the event that I really need to slow down to backtrack, I could easily just drag a button and I'll be done. So yeah, for those people that say that I'm not having an immersive experience just because I didn't play myself, I think it's the same thing. I enjoyed Natlan's Conquest even though I haven't played it myself, and I will be giving a review on it and how I feel about Natlan. Maybe one day I'll play through some other games and see how I feel about it. But now we are going to talk about the 4.8 update summer event. Honestly, I didn't really want to talk about the 4.8 summer event at first because I didn't play it. As someone who started playing Genshin Impact in 1.6 summer event, I grew an attachment towards the summer event. I really loved the 1.6 summer event where we could see Klee, Kaya, Diluc, Jean. I just felt that the entire moment was so wholesome, and the fact that Albedo and Razor had a bit of issues traveling to Golden Archipelago was just hilarious. And I love 1.6 summer events even though I had no idea what getting skins were. I had no idea what collecting those star conches were, so I missed out getting the Barbara skin, but I still thoroughly enjoyed it. So as a 1.6 summer event girl, I have been looking forward to the future summer events, and 2.8 came up with Kazuha, Xingyan, Mona, and Fischl, and boy, oh boy, that was Kazuha harem, seriously. That entire event was just the girlies simping over Kazuha, and as someone that loves, like, sims over Kazuha, seriously, Hoyoverse, why do you make my samurai run in his armor on the beach? Give him something summer boy, man! Make him wear his sunglasses. But jokes aside, I really loved the 2.6 summer event. As someone who loved Xingyan, I was so happy to see my girl being done justice. I love Xingyan's story quest the most, I really resonated with it as a musician myself. I really loved the way how they expounded on the struggles of her being like the rock and roll girl, and how she feels like she needs to blend in with the rest of the people in Lyria, who seems to be more cultured and demure, if I could put it that way. And I just love the way how she learned to accept herself. It was so nice. The whole cutscene of her having her hair let down and she's just playing the guitar. I would love to be able to experience that again. unfortunately, I wasn't able to play through Mona and Visual Story Quest because I had the lack of time. But, you know, I played Kazuha's quest and I loved Kazuha's domain. Yes, the puzzles were a pain in the head, but I loved it regardless because that was also the time I believe that I got Kazuha. So being able to play as Kazuha in Kazuha's quest was so fun and I love it. You know, regardless of whether I have Kazuha or not, I still love to do a 2.6 event regardless. I just love the fact that Genshin actually expounded more of them in an event. Unfortunately, none of them are permanent, but again, if you really want to experience the story, you can always watch through the playthrough of the story, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it as much as if you were to play through the event. Now come 3.8 summer event. Again, I love it because 3.8 summer event is just roller coasters. We have the Eidolons, I don't know how to pronounce that. Like, you know the hydro bubbles thing? I'm just gonna call them hydro bubbles, alright? So, the hydro bubble event was so fun. Like, we get to pretend that we are in the theater. There were a lot of acting and stuff like that, and I had fun trying to farm stuff to get Kaya's skin, you know, and Kaya being in that event and just fighting off the bad bullies, you know, when he was angry and then cleaving like, Kaya, why are you so angry? That was so precious, and I just love that in the event Kokomi kind of wants to know about herself, and boy oh boy, the cutscene of the NPC was so good. The first time I actually felt connected to the OCs in the summer event, so I was really sad when the whole thing was over. I just love everything. I love the combat, I love the roller coaster mechanic, I love the fact that we could change different routes according to the type of roller coaster we take. 3.8 summer event, good job Genshin. We'll give it 9.5 out of 10 because I wasn't able to finish the whole thing again due to some puzzles being very tough. But the storytelling was really good. Love to play it. 1.6, 3.8 summer event, beautiful. Would play it again. Would I say that's insane? Not really, but still really good. You know what would be insane? If Arlecchino meets Danzig. That would be insane. If Albedo meets Amber and they become our permanent traveling companion, that would be insane. But I am going to leave those to another video. Now comes 4.8. Boy, oh boy. 4.8, instant skip, instant drop. The thing is, when I was watching the live stream for 4.8, I was really hyped up, you know, I really wanted to see the Harbinger with the dragon. The whole cutscene looks so cool during the trailer, so I really wanted to experience it for myself. And again, it's also because I was a summer event person. I've played the 2.8 event to get the Fischl skin. I played 3.8 to get the Kaya skin, so as you can see, I am a huge fan of the summer events. But 4.8 was a huge letdown. I'm sorry, but Kirara's design was horrible. I mean, it doesn't look any different from her actual outfit from Inazuma, to be honest. There is no difference in the color palette. It just feels like they gave her plus in boots and then just slap her a hat and just slap her a shirt and just named that plus in boots. They didn't even bother giving her a different color palette or different accessory that makes it feel different. So I'm sorry, but Kirara's skin was an easy skip for me. And honestly, as I was playing through the story, I really didn't want to finish it because it started out with us just meeting the animals and stuff like that. We came to this world without any colors, and while that could be an interesting story, the way it was told was so boring. It was like, I'm just running to this squirrel, I'm just listening to them yap. I can't even listen to them 2 times so that I can just like see what they're trying to say. I had to manually click the thing, manually run to them. And as I watched the playthrough, I really tried to get invested, but I couldn't get into it because after experiencing the 1.6 to 3.8 event that was so well written, playing 4.8 just feels so disappointing. The exposition from 3.8 was like how we got invited from some unknown person, and that exposition itself was already better than whatever 4.8 has done. Like, if 4.8 event was to start with like Venti opening up a book and then the papers are just coming up, we see the paper cranes flying, that would get me invested. Like, I would say that is insane because Genshin has rarely started any story with book, with a 2D animation, and they missed the chance to do it. Like, if they were to do it, having Venti as the narrator at the back to bring back the whole like Mondstadt vibe, to hint that Albedo will come later, I will play it. Because the thing is, as I mentioned, I did not want to make a video on this. I didn't think that I would be invested to know about this story until someone on Instagram, my friend, told me that Albedo was in the event. So as an Albedo shield myself, I genuinely thought that I missed out a lot on Albedo's lore. But lo and behold, I didn't miss much. And the thing how I feel is that this whole story doesn't make sense. It feels like a mix of Nutcracker, but a very badly rendition version. Don't get me wrong, I really love the part when the detective talk about how he feels that he is fake, how he feels like he's just a fictional character. It was so ironic for the fictional character to tell another fictional character that you are not a fictional character. How would you know how I feel? When I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness, because again, I'm so sorry for yapping about my OCs, but I do have a character that's a narrator OC, and because of that, he can't fall in love with the guy that he likes. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness, a Matt reference, and that honestly drew me in. But in order for me to get there, I was talking to the squirrels. The squirrel is talking to the bartender about how good her juice is, and it just goes on and on and on. And honestly, I just feel like the front part of the event before Wanderer appeared was just an advertisement that says, hey guys, please be sure to get Kirara's skin. Hey guys, please be sure to get Nilu's skin. And hey guys, please be sure to have Navia the next time her banner reruns. It doesn't connect me to the story. I'm like, why the heck is Navia doing in a paper world? It doesn't make sense. And I know that people will say that it's because I didn't play through that I missed it out, but I just feel like the whole introduction to Nilu thing doesn't really make sense. I guess they wanted to make it like such that Nilu is in the dreamscape, but then as you continue on in the story, it gradually became about Albedo's lore, which doesn't make sense. Because I personally love the whole 5 majors event thing. I played it from start to finish without skipping. I love that event. So for that event to be recapped in a paper world just feels very run down to me. Like, it feels like a downgrade from what we gotten in that 5 majors event, because I love that event. If I could play it again, I would. I was so sad when the event disappeared, and while I'm glad that they did talk about it, I feel like they are forcefully putting it into the 4.8 event. It's like they really want to reconcile the role-playing aspect from the 2.8 event together with the paper, I guess. But then instead of expounding on how Wanderer came to know about the sword in a 2D animation, we started with us talking about the squirrels. Like, I would much rather the animation start with them telling, like Venti saying, once upon a time there was an artist that decided to draw the story. Upon the book, she pasted some little squirrels, not knowing they'll become real, and everyone lived peacefully in that little world until one day a big bad dragon showed up. How dare you all traverse upon my plains, the dragon said, and everyone ran away from the dragon, even though he didn't mean any harm. Then, upon his way, the dragon sobbed as he thought about the way how he was being rejected, only to meet the person named Hat Guy. Something like this. I know that the story is going to be way shorter than it was, but when I compare the timing, like the number of hours spent on each event, I just think that the 3.8 event the 4.8 event took a painfully long time to get to the main point, because the main point of the whole story is that Scaramouche meets the dragon, like the big bad dragon that you saw in the epic live stream trailer, And then he basically talks to him, about how it's alright, everything is going to be good, and I love those parts. But what I didn't like is that instead of putting Albedo into that scene, we had Albedo appear not 1 hour, not 2 hours into the event, but the last 10 freaking minutes. Okay, I know people will say maybe this event is not focused on Albedo. Maybe this event is, maybe they just want to give a sneak peek or something. But even if, let's say, you want to have a sneak peek, not putting Albedo at least, let's say, 20 minutes before the ending is such a shitty move. Because can you imagine watching a movie that's around 3 hours long, and for the front part, for the first 1 hour, you're just talking about who is the hero, you're just with this pretty girl, and stuff like that. I mean, that show does have a lot of interesting card scene, but I couldn't take it seriously because of the Lego toys, the Lego looking figures. Like, come on, Genshin, you gave us such good designs in the 2.6, in the 2.8 and 3.8 event. What happened with this one? I really love the idea of the Oceanid feeling lonely, and then they are like, the Oceanid was being lonely, she's trying to find friends and stuff like that. That was so wholesome, honestly. Like, I love that Oceanid event from start to finish. But the 4.8 event, there's literally nothing good about the event until Wanderer showed up. And I wish that the moment that Wanderer showed up, they also introduced Albedo. Like, I really wanted to see how Albedo would feel as he touched Durin, like his brother. Like, come on, Genshin, you gave us such a good cutscene in 2.3. You gave us such a good cutscene where Albedo talks about how he would feel as his brother is being dumped into Durin's stomach. So why didn't we have Albedo 1 hour into the game? Oh my goodness, day by day, I just have reasons not to play Genshin anymore. And I'm just so glad that I actually didn't play through the entire event, because if I were to play it only to realize that the 5 major story and Albedo's lore have been mashed into it like that, when it was about how the Lego figures feel used, it's just so messy. It's almost like they forced Alice to be inside the story just so, like, oh, we are bringing back the summer thing where Alice is always introduced at the end of the show. Like, I really don't mind them introducing these little Easter eggs, but with Albedo being narrated it instead of him experiencing it for himself, I'm sorry, but this is horrible, horrible story writing. That was bad, and I don't care what people say. That was not insane. Whatever they did with Xingyan, whatever they did with Kokomi, whatever they did with Klee in the first few summer events, that was insane, I'm not gonna lie. Whatever they did with Mona, that was insane. Even the puzzles were difficult. Insane. What they did with Reconciled Star, stuff like that, insane. I could say that. If I'll let Chino meet Dan Slave and I'll say it 2 times, yes, that'll be insane. But 4.8 summer event, not insane. Easily skippable story, feels like a Mickey Mouse Disneyland instead of the usual Genshin vibe. I did not like it. And the painful thing was I didn't have a skip button to just kind of play through. And a cutscene of like the Legos being on the boat and then them rescuing it. It was just so bad. Like, don't get me wrong, I really love the idea of them introducing the characters in the form of a 2D art. I thought that was really creative. But the rest of the story is horrible. Honestly, horrible. Like, if you were to introduce the character of Albedo, they should have just introduced it like 1 hour earlier during the scene that Scaramouche appears. And yeah, as much as I love the idea that Albedo is talking to Wanderer about this, it feels like Genshin really hates Albedo. Because if you look at the 1.2 event, you see him dealing with the festering desire. I have yet to watch a playthrough of it, but I will watch a playthrough of it to understand what happened in 1.2, because there's no like recollection of it, but I really want to know what's going on. And then in 2.3, we were told that there's a fake Albedo with the fake mark, and Albedo basically just kind of ended with him holding out the sword and walking in the streets of Dragonspine. You're telling me that you made that event so interesting and then just gave us that in the 4.8 event? It was such a shitty move. And I will say it again, because in the 5 Mages event, we see Gold talking about how she struggles to be the mother of Albedo. She feels like, I honestly am not a fan of Gold. I feel like she was quite shitty for just throwing the L1, I'll just call him L1. Like, to throw the first Albedo into Durin's stomach, it was such a shitty move. But then instead of exploring the whole feeling of like Albedo meeting Durin and just having tears in his eyes and hugging him, and that being like the whole point of the story, we had Wanderer instead. Like, why is Wanderer the one doing all this kind of thing? Why is it not Albedo? Like, why did they not bother to put Albedo and Wanderer together if they were both puppets? Why did they just have Albedo listen to Scaramouche talk about it when it's his own brother? I really love the scene when Albedo appeared. The scene when Albedo appeared was genuinely good, okay? Like, but it was just so trash that he appeared 7 minutes in. 7 minutes to the end, not in the beginning. Like, Albedo was introduced 7 minutes in the beginning. I'm in. I'm going to play the story from start to finish. Just like how he was introduced almost at the start in the first Golden Archipelago event. Love that still. But it just feels like Hoyoverse doesn't know what to do with Albedo's story. So they're just trying to mix in bits and pieces instead of just having an event made based on Albedo. Like, if you really want the story to be about Albedo, why wasn't the world made based on him? Why was it like this Nutcracker inspired kind of world? Why is it about Nilou making the colors of the world, Unless it's a reference to Romulus, obviously. I mean, Romulus is basically a video of Albedo drawing, and then he goes inside that colorful world. Boy, if that was the 4.8 summer event though, I'm in from start to finish. Like, seriously, if the 4.8 event was Albedo drawing, he gets sucked into the world where there's no colors, and he needs to find the colors. Boy, I would love that. And again, this is such a wasted opportunity because Albedo is the artist. He would know everything about colors. But instead of letting Albedo be the main character of that story, they made Nilou just so that they could market her skin. And the more I say that, the more infuriating I get. So I'll try to calm down first, alright? And what annoyed me more was that when I was watching the playthrough, Brand Online was like, oh, it's spoilers for Natlan, that kind of thing. And I barely had any spoilers for Natlan. Like, which part of the story was talking about Natlan? I mean, to be honest, that world did hype me up for Natlan, but then, yeah, more issues came from that. To be honest, I feel like Genshin really plummeted in their storytelling from 4.8 after everything from Fontaine was over. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't even bother to play through the whole Fontaine casting event because, boy, having your characters wear a bikini, borderline bikini kimono into a place like Fontaine is just culturally disrespectful to me. But again, I'll rant about that in another video. So yeah, I just really hope that Genshin stops doing this thing where they give you a very epic trailer. The first hour of the story has nothing to do with the main point, and then the main character of the story doesn't even appear until the end. Like, come on, Genshin, you have been doing it from 1.6 to 3.8. You've given us what we wanted. The whole story from start to finish for all these events were made for these characters, and that's why people were so infuriated that they miss it. But 4.8, I barely see anyone talking about it. Yeah, Head Guy did appear, but so what? I really wanted to know how he obtained the sword. I want to know how Head Guy Wanderer knew about Durin, but instead of having that, I have to talk to the little squirrels, Navia, Nilou, for like 1 hour and 30 minutes. It was so torturous, and I'm so glad that I didn't play through that event. That event, skippable, never gonna play it again, hate it, 1 out of 10.